Hello, everybody. I have felt a little impulsed today to come on and just pop this recording through for anyone who resonates to it or finds me. But the reason is that I just wanted to connect with everyone in these incredible times at the moment. I know there's so much going on out there for many, including myself. And in particular, that's why I did want to come on today, not just to give advice and to tell you what's going on, but to actually offer some insight into me, I guess, and to how I've been coping and how I employ the skills that I know, what I've walked through, the requirements of my higher self that are calling on me to step up and rise, as we are all being called to step up and rise now. And that's the one word I've heard this week being repeated and repeated and repeated in the deepest part of my being from my higher self, I'm sure, is that just a simple word: rise, rise. And I can tell you, when I heard that word, I was not in a position or a place that I wanted to rise. It's been quite a heavy energy for me, particularly in the last couple of weeks, but it really started, I suppose, a few weeks back, end of July into August, and it's been this ongoing process. So it's not out of the blue, I suppose, and nothing ever is. Let's face it, no coincidences ever. Everything's divinely created. That, everything happens in reasons, and sometimes we have our simple tests, and sometimes we have our bigger tests, and then sometimes they're what I really call our true rites of passage. And so any of us and any of you there can be experiencing one or more of these at the moment, or have been constantly for the last year or 2 years. And they're on the upsurge, that's for sure, because the light, as we know, is increasing and increasing and increasing, and that's not stopping. So we've kind of got to navigate and traverse our way through these amazing energies that, while we all want them, yes, and we do, and we're not going to stop them, and we don't want them to stop. But the reality is, this light is high frequency, it's high quotients, and it's encoded with new activations and crystalline frequencies and diamond light energies. And so all these frequencies that we are calling for at our highest level are coming in, and they're greeting us, and they're meeting ourselves. And to accommodate them, our cells must release that which is not in our highest good and is not making our heart sing and is not serving us any longer, in order for the new to be absorbed into the cells and for the cellular changes to take place. So this is the purge. And again, as I said, you could be anywhere in just a minor test or a rite of passage, and anywhere in between. And certainly for me, I've been walking another rite of passage. And what I do know about these rites of passage, they're big, they test you, and the tests are not so much of what you need to find. That's not the test on offer. The test is always, and from here on in, what have you got in your positive ego? What have you got in your solar plexus? What have you got in your heart and strength? What have you got in your throat, in your willingness to surrender and create with? What have you got in your third eye and crown chakra of the inspiration and of the truth that is waiting for you now to utilize all these chakras and then birth them through the sacral and ground them through the root into your greater new grid and your greater auric being? So that solar plexus for me is the beginning of all, and it's coming into its own, because the solar plexus gets a bad rap because we know it's the house of fear. We feel all the anxiety and the fear and all the yuck that can go through our solar plexus, all the lots of nausea, digestion issues, imbalances that we've got in our systems that come through there. But it's the generator of our being. It is the sun, the soul. It's the sun that mirrors the sun of all that we are. So, and it is the house of fear. So it is under the pump. But it's this incredible place that holds the strength, that holds that great divine masculine, all the qualities of him, that energy that represents him in your your resilience, your capacity to rise, your willingness to rise with your throat chakra. And it's the greatest test, because when we're in and running down the spiral again, and we're going back, as I like to say, to clear up the debris, or to be taken into the deeper aspects of the subconscious and unconscious within us that hold these programs and these lineage programs of the lesser energies, the lesser frequencies, the lesser ego. And so while we can start with the conscious, the more you expand, the greater your knowledge becomes. As I said, Jai, it doesn't matter how much you know. And this is again why I want to be here today, because I want to sort of portray my story, because, you know, I know in a role that I may sit in, and I come and do these, and I run a page, and I do groups, and I do healings, and, you know, whatever. That's just my journey. Doesn't mean I'm any better than anybody else. It doesn't mean that I'm, you know, greater than anybody else, or in truth that, you know, shit doesn't happen to me. Yes, it does, because we're all one. We're all infinite. We're just on differing timelines, differing soul journeys on our awakening. No better, no worse, no greater, no less than. And we're just doing it in different time frames, because we've got different missions and purposes. And at the end of the day, as I just said, we're all doing it, full stop. No one is exempt. I've always said that. No one gets out of this scot-free. No one's getting out of this lightly. We have to meet ourselves. We have to come and get to know ourselves and be comfortable with ourselves again, accept all the fragments of ourselves we dissipated in those moments where we went into fear, where we were told, where we formed beliefs, where we believed in those we loved, where we began to separate from the truth of source. And we really truly formed these false identities, these false patterns and beliefs that became our current beliefs that we have created with endlessly and endless timeline periods of less than love qualities. And those timelines are now they're being raised. The light is pumping them and pushing them up to the surface within us, because the less than can be no longer. If your soul mission, your soul journey is to move towards 5D, the consciousness that is 5D, not the location. Okay, I really want to get that straight. The consciousness that is 5D, then we have to be putting the effort in. We have to be putting the effort into us. And simply, it's the path of getting to know us and getting to like us again, getting to accept us again, where we can see that shadow within us. We can see the ego that has been separate from the heart. The heart's remaining constant. The ego's been doing this the whole time, trying to save itself and protect itself and look after itself, because it fears any judgment from the heart, which will never happen. Okay, but the ego has believed such false lies, such false illusions, and such distortions of stories that it can't possibly know the truth while it's doing its dance over here. So the ego, to get to know the heart and to come back into balance, we have to engage the two together. We have to start getting them talking. And this is very reflective of the feminine and the masculine. You know, everything's a mirror, because when we're imbalanced, the masculine and the feminine, they're not really combining either. We might have these moments they walk together, but then we're back here and we just do this dance off and on, and we've done it for I don't know how many lifetimes. But that's ceasing now. So the light is propelling us and pushing us. Our higher self, our holy Christ self, and our I am presence is saying, time, people, time, souls. You've chosen this moment of time. You signed up for now. Let's get on with the journey. So as these two come together, light, dark, feminine, masculine, heart, ego, lower ego, they have to start communicating. Now, I can tell you, as you probably know, when you're in fear, you're not in your heart. Fear does not know the heart. This is why they're separate, okay? And we're talking frequencies here. So these two aren't on the same vibration. They're not in balance. They're not aligned. They're not as one. They're here. So we've got to get them back talking again. So how do we do that? Is by just listening and feeling to what's going on with us. So please know there is nothing to fix during this process. There is nothing to, in truth, and I say this, there's nothing to truly heal, because at the highest level, we're already healed. We're just having this moment of this game. So it's only this tiny fragment of us that's this game that we are here to heal or to realign back into who we are. So we need to start allowing. So anytime we allow, anytime we recognize, anytime we are conscious, anytime we are willing, we're working from the heart. So this is where we need to engage, and we need to be honest as to where our consciousness is. Now, it's always easy, as we know, when things are going well. Oh, that's much easier. Life's good, things can flow easier, and they can kind of communicate. They might have their moments. We might be up and down a bit, but, we have these, reasonably even keeled days. When we're going through the deeper challenges, when we're going through the rites of passage, we have these moments, and we will put ourselves into these moments not to go through the old stuff, not to even be in a space of fear, not to believe or find ourselves in the beliefs that we've done something wrong, or we didn't get it right, or we misread, or we're not as clever, or we can't do this, or whatever we find that's negative coming up. Okay, and anytime you find your inner voice telling you everything about how you can't do it, or you feel dreadful, or you can't be bothered, or you can't make this happen, or it's not going to work, or I'm less than, or anything that's not loving, this is usually a great moment in time when your heart is saying, okay, we're ready to rise now. So when we want you to take the quantum leap, when we want you to really rise, or we need you to now become conscious, and we need you to get to know yourself even more so about what you haven't fully looked at, what you haven't fully addressed of yourself. And that's all this is about. This isn't like some great fear that's going to come and take over you. It's not like this great fear that's going to come and make life hell for you. It's not like this great fear that is going to be this horrendous pathway and this moment where you just cave in and nothing's going to work. It's not about that. It's just about, in that moment, how you can find your grace, your heart, even if you're just saying the words, that's all you need. That's the conscious willingness to just be, even in the moment of not knowing. Because even when you say, I don't know anymore, I don't even know what this is about, I don't know why I'm here, I don't know who I am, I haven't got a clue, and you're being honest, I don't feel great, I don't like this, I'm not happy where this is, I feel terrible, I know I don't feel right, but I don't know what it is. Keep feeling your way through. Don't try and deny it. Allow it all come out with its rawness. Let it really come to the surface, because this is what the heart is doing. It's pushing it up into your consciousness so that you can begin to work with it. Not fix it, not deal with it, not heal it, not let it go, not move on from it. No, watch the fear and the ego in that. It's to embrace it. It's to feel it. It's to allow it and to sit with it. And to say, what is this? What is this about? And so this is no greater time than at the moment for this balance. We are going to be, and we are, and I have been, going through this incredible rebalance yet again, this deep, deep rebalancing in this momentary time of the equinox. And I know I wrote last week about how powerful this equinox is, how powerful it is going to be, and it is. All these great portals of time are always massive. Solstice, equinox, gateways, all big. But this one, I feel, and I am deeply feeling it, is really big because of the planetary configurations. But this week, we also have in that rebalance or balancing the new moon of Libra. So between these two, of the equinox and the new moon, they are forming this huge portal gateway. They are combining in oneness to open us up to a massive rebalance. So that is all the things I said, and the equinox is all about the balance. It's equal hours of light and dark, day and night. Okay, so that's what we've been talking about, coming back into that balance. And then we have the new moon in Libra. And when we look at Libra, it's all about the scales of balance, the scales of justice, the scales of truth and non-truth. So this is a big energy we're about to walk through. So some of us have been gearing up for us in all our unique ways, but we will be propelled through this gateway, all of us, into October. How far it goes, I don't know. Okay, again, that is going to be our own individual walk and our own encodements and our light activations and the light of diamond crystalline frequencies coming in that will be propelling us and asking us to adjust accordingly. So be prepared. So as I said, I wanted to just show you and explain to you how I walk through and how I get through, and not as a, oh, look at me thing, but as a guide, hopefully, to give you understandings of how I feel and that I'm, you know, we're all human, we're all doing this, and that you too may connect to that going, oh, thank God I'm okay. We all need that sometimes. But as I said, you know, this last couple of months for me have been massive, where I have really been asked to step up in my walk. I have been really tested in trusting in what I receive, because in those receivings, I'm getting emotional too. They were so powerful that I was being gifted this incredible opportunity of not only listening and trusting in my knowing, so bringing these two forces back together. Because if there's one thing I have struggled with in my lifetime, it's been, oh God, here I am, this is silly. This lack of trust in me. I'm being raw. And I'm not going to apologize. That's big for me. But it's been a moment where I was gifted this great opportunity to assist his blessed soul. Who was my flower girl a long, long time ago, through and into her death cycle. And she guided me a year ago in preparation. And it was, you know, back then I didn't realize the great teaching that this amazing soul was giving so many. But she offered us, or she offered me at the time, these incredible visions, these incredible moments of assisting her in preparation. And I've done that before with other souls, so it wasn't anything new. Sorry, I'm not saying sorry. But just to be shown and how she was releasing on another level, to see how she was letting go of the constraints. She'd been quite sick for some time. But to go through that with her, and then it didn't happen. And it was huge because I trusted, and I was letting the family know, and I know at that stage it wasn't, it was questioned, and rightly so. I mean, this is huge for me to say, you know, your daughter's getting ready. But then when it didn't happen, it was a great going back down and looking at myself and sitting with myself to say, wow, did I get that wrong? Did I not get it right? Did I not listen? Was I an ego? Was I in the heart? Where was I? What's going on? And we all have to do this, and especially if we are in our big roles and we are leading, it can be really tricky, and it takes great courage to step up at times to do what we have to do. So I had a huge questioning time, and then everything plateaued right until again, early this year, and I was being told again this was about to transpire because last time family wasn't really ready. And her magnificent soul was here to help everybody, not just me. And my soul was there to help everybody, just not me. And so I went into that space again of questioning, like, really? Am I here? Am I getting this? This is a huge walk again. How do I step up and do this again? Like, really, is this my ego? Where am I? You know, is this going to happen? And the whole path was trust, trust, trust. And yes, it did progress. And then I kept having to refine, refine, refine until I kept trusting and kept trusting. And yes, I would have my doubt. Yes, absolutely. I would have to come back to the self, come back deep within and say, feel, feel, feel. And then I would have a sign. I would get a synchronistic moment. I would get something that would give me that validity to keep going and trust and hold on to that faith. And I did. And blessed be her magnificent soul at the end of August finally took flight. And that was fantastic for her. And what was magnificent was that her beautiful family were ready. And, you know, the depth of the soul journey again never, ever ceases to amaze me. How incredible our souls are. And that's all we are. And that's what we're here to do. And the offerings that we give each other, the offerings that we afford each other in every moment, if we pull out of ego and we're willing to dare to step up and find that courage within us and just to walk through and find love in every possible potential opportunity and to see everything as an opportunity, regardless of the presentation, we can't go wrong. We simply cannot but expand and move into further greater love. And so that was sort of the beginning and the journey through in all that encompassed with all of that magnificent family that I was gifted to assist and to guide. And the beautiful teachings that she gave me right to the very end, and seeing the clan mothers working right beside me in that moment, and the beautiful mother, She Who Heals, which was the guiding light of that clan mother month that when she passed. And then from that, the last few weeks of the grief that I was so prepared for. But, you know, you still don't realise what's come up in that grieving process of what has come up for me again in worth aspects, in unconditional love aspects. And so there's been more rebalancing, more understanding, more releasing, letting go, because that contract is now complete on many levels. With those souls. And then that ambivalent mode of, well, now what? Where am I? Who am I? What comes next? And really feeling nothing. And this, I know, throws many of us out, where we are in a space where there is just nothing. And I really went there where there felt like there was nothing to do. There was nothing to be. I didn't have a thought. I didn't have inspirations. I hardly had the impulse to put posts out. Some days I didn't. I only do when I feel anyway. And I just sat there for most of the time. And with my family, I had no inspiration from them. I lost inspiration of everything. I just accepted I'm in retreat. I thought, well, I'm in retreat now. So I chose retreat. And I did the things that I felt that I wanted to do. But even then, it was nothing. It was like, God, well, where am I? Like, what is this place? And I remember it from the past. It's been a long time since I've been in this, and I wouldn't call it a hole, cave. Let's say it's a cave, because it was somewhere I entered that I had to be, and I was on my own, and I had to be on my own, and just allow that feeling, all feelings. And they weren't all bad. They weren't all negative. It was just this nothingness, like I said. And I knew there were people around me saying, you know, let's do this, or let's try that, or I want to go here. Do you want to do this? And it was like, no, no. And the good thing out of that was saying no, no, it's not time. And I've always been, since I've learned how to, I've always been able to say no, that doesn't feel right to me, or it's not time. And to not apologize, and certainly not to try to make things happen, but just to be. And I knew how deep it was, because the other thing that we all may feel is that during the walk of my blessed little one, and she wasn't little, she was 42, but during her walk at the end, my right leg went, my right knee, and it's an old injury. It just went, and I was really struggling to walk on my right masculine leg. Wasn't so much, but I felt that the strength wasn't there. It wasn't supporting me. And so that was one of the first things that I sat with, looking at my knee. Why? What does my knee represent? What is the chakra? So again, when you have your symptoms, sit with it. Aim not to fix it. Aim not to band-aid it. Learn how to sit with you to learn about you. I'm so sorry, that's my remote. And so I looked at my knee again. I went into my base chakra. I cleaned it out. Violet flame, always in violet flame. I had a good look. I called in for the guides, the teachers, the masters, whoever. My higher self take charge. Always handing off to my higher self take charge. And I wasn't getting any clarity in that chakra, so to speak, but I learned a lot with my knee, and I did a lot of work with my knee, and I gave it lots of love. And the stories attached to my knee that were stories I've repeated, that are on automatic pilot and are mirrored to me by my husband with his same knee. Interesting. Coincidence? No. They're masculine. And I just looked at all these aspects of the knee and sat with it and thought, okay, well, where am I? I am ready. And I had to be honest, am I ready now to step up? Am I ready now to walk a new path, take that step forward? Am I going to allow my divine masculine now to come through and to really support the new walk, which has to be for 5D? And to walk that new path in that divinity, I have to let go of these old stories. I have to let go of every story I've ever had about my knee, and I have to stop talking about my knee. Because every time I talk about my knee and the old story, I relive and I reconnect the energies to the old timelines. And so it keeps active. So I've ceased them. And instead I'm seeing my knee healed, looking beautiful. I see the cartilage built. I see the bones strong. I'm sending the muscles love. And I'm coming in from that divine masculine of a positive reinforcement. Because again, even though we are physical, supposedly, we're having this physical experience, we are still energy first. And energy cannot be destroyed, but it can be transmuted, transformed. As I put a post up today, we're 99% space in truth. We have this incredible divine soul and incredible power. When we're willing to step, rise, and accept it and use it, we can transform anything. So that's my intention, and it has been for a while, but now I mean it. And so I've chosen even to see a new physio, which I've never done, because I've always had this story about physios. I've never really liked them from nursing days. I just found them a waste of time and space. So there was an old story to let go. Found this really lovely new guy, acupuncture, open-minded. We talked energy. And this is, again, my new masculine coming through, where I'm not afraid to be me, where I will say, this is who I am. This is what I feel. This is what I believe. This is what I do. This is what I've done. And even I went to a podiatrist again, and funnily how I was cancelling him and realised, well, I keep cancelling. What's this about? And went, no, I'm going. And then I'll make the choice how to flow with that. And then when I was on my way, this car came in front of me, 777, and I just knew transformation. Right, we're seeing this guy. Same deal with the energy of who I am in my divine masculine, to really grow this energy now of my knee and to love this energy and not be attached to the fear of potential, knee implants, or not implants, what do you call it? Replacements. No, I'm not doing that path. I'm here to resolve my energy imbalances, rebalance my energy in this knee, my masculine, my flexibility, my strength to support me, my walks. And so even this podiatrist, I was just me. I just put myself out there of my energies, what I vision, what I saw in amputations, how I fixed it, what I do. This is who I am. And he too was open. How incredible. So I'm meeting these people who are aligning to me, rebalancing, realignments, all the re's of this retrograde we're in right now. And so that was the first part. And that knee, as I really work through my stuff on my knee's been fantastic. It's getting better and better. While interestingly, my blessed husband, who's still doing his journey, is really having difficulty and suffering. And that's his walk. But how funny it was when I went in without fear and I said to the podiatrist, very open, how do you find my knee, my walk, and the whole structural alignment of this leg? And he said, it's really structurally strong. I'm surprised. And I thought, that's all I needed to hear. Because that then gave me the impetus to say, right, we're on the right track. So that's the knee part of it. And then what then kicked in as I'm moving through this release and moving through the grief was my shoulder blades, my back of my neck, and my whole neck and all across here up into the whole ridge of my skull, the base of my skull back. Pain, ache, locked up, rigid, can't turn the head, can't move, couldn't do anything, had to attend a wedding, drove to Sydney in the beginning of the end of August as well. Came back just locked up severely. See a chiro normally, went there. He cracked me, but I've never had such pain, and it was all my left side. And it was just through, but I knew how deep and old this energy was, and it wouldn't go. It didn't release like I always release. And so that was 3 weeks ago. So the last 3 weeks, I have been really locked up and tight and stuck, really stuck. And so here's my heart and my throat chakras. In I go, in I go. And in short, while there's been so much I've thrown off, so much I've had to release, physically, implants, old wounds, knives, daggers, crosses, you name it, whatever it was, I've taken it all out. But the thing that truly shifted it was I knew it was about my surrender. I knew it was about old, deep, subconscious, unconscious control aspects, fear aspects of surrendering to thy will, that I know this what's coming. I have felt it for a while. There's this huge shift coming for me. I don't know what it is, where I'm going with it, but it's asking me to rise to the occasion and to the frequencies. So that brings up the stuff for all of us in itself, because our ultimate fear is our true power. And I've known that one for many, many years. But it's been all about her, because she is the all-powerful. She is the all-wise, the all-knowing, which I had to walk through with my path, with my blessed little one, entrusting me and learning all those faith things and surrendering to whatever, with not a hint of control, with not a hint of me anymore. This personality in the old sense had to go. And so the final aspect of that was last Friday. And my little granddaughter, she's been this incredible, deep, deep subconscious, unconscious teacher to me in release. I had a day with her on Friday, and I knew going down, I could feel it in my being again, that I wasn't out of the cave yet. And I had it in the car going, I can feel it, I don't want to go, I don't want to be here. And I knew that something was coming with her, because she's such a light. She was just going to push me to my limits. And I thought, can I go home? They can go. My other daughter was there. And I got there, and I knew straight away, as soon as I walked in, because they just read your energy. I walked in, I went to kiss her, and she just went, whew, and pushed me away. Well, instantly, my heart felt this. It wasn't even a pain. That's what I recognized straight away, because I felt her pain 12 months ago when I was doing the big stuff with her, and the pain of my heart that she was bringing up. But this wasn't a pain. There was this shift, though. There was this huge shift. But I recognized in the moment, it's not pain. That's okay. let it be, just go with it, just go with it. And the feelings, and it was, I could feel the teariness, I could feel the stuff coming up. I thought, oh, I don't know what this is again. Okay, cut to the chase, I don't want to bore you. Is that I went outside and they're living in this beautiful, beautiful property, and there was a dam there, and I just walked out to the dam and I stood there on my own where I knew the others were away. And I was there just looking over the dam, and this dam it's a boggy dam now. It's quite thick and murky and I've already started working energetically with that last week. But I looked at it and I thought, wow, how perfect are you? How perfect a mirror you, because right now that's how I feel, and that's how my energies must look. They must look and so with that, I sat there and I thought, okay, well, what are you feeling? And we often run away from our feelings. We often don't want to feel the deep wound, the deep energy that's calling us. And we have in our solar plexus, as I started earlier, we have these core words, I believe, that are our deepest, lowest frequencies, whether that's unlovable, unworthy, rejection, the betrayals, the pain, whatever the word is, these are the words that we have to rise and to release and acknowledge and embrace and love again. And so that word again, which she started 12 months ago, which I had to look at from my parents and my own baby and my birth, and then my own suicide and my own stuff and my postnatal stuff when the baby was born. That word of rejection came up again, this huge rejection. And that's how I felt when I arrived that morning. And I thought, okay, here's the word. And I just sat with it. I owned it. I felt every part of it. I asked for every vision, every thought, anything that I needed to know that was in mind to know to work with that moment right now. And so I did. And I cried and I let it out, and I cried and I cried and I cried some more. And then I knew it was done. It was just this knowing again, because I'd already done deep, deep work. This was just another layering. And it felt like, I'm not going to say the final layer, I'm not falling into that ego trap, but it was a big layering of another level of major completion. And then almost instantly, the lightness started to come through again. And I could feel my whole body shifting. I could feel the flow starting. I could feel the energy starting to shift again, that I had not felt for probably 5-6 weeks or more. I don't even know now. But particularly for 3 weeks, solid, deep, dense darkness. And so it started to flow. And then again, in her beautiful teachings as the soul, my granddaughter, she's 18 months. As I walked back in with no fear of, I just knew it's okay, I'm okay. And I came into her presence and she looked at me, and then she was smiling, and then she wanted me. And then she wanted to hold me and cuddle me. And then my daughter, who she wanted all day, and she didn't want me at all. Then my daughter came to me and she's like, no, I'm with Nanny. And that was just like the rose coming back into my heart. It was just this beautiful moment of going, my energies are coming back. They're online. She's accepting them. They're resonating. They're in alignment. We're in balance again. Hallelujah, brother. And then since then, I've come home, and the weekend, and particularly, where are we? I don't know what day it is anymore. Since Monday, that was Monday, actually. Sorry, that was Monday that all happened. I've lost track of time. Tuesday and Wednesday, I have just clean. I have been ripping through cupboards, pulling stuff out, culling, clearing. Energies are going, the cupboards are going, the chakras are going. I'm working on myself again, where I haven't wanted to do any work. I haven't wanted to read spiritual books. I haven't wanted to listen to stuff. I've just done my thing. Now it's like, bring it in again. But this clearing that I do, which I know is always symbolic, you clear your space, you clear your cupboards, you clear your drawers, you clear your kitchen, whatever you need, the pantry, everything's being cleared, because that represents your house. These outer represent the inner. And again, once you're clearing off the muck that was cleared from within. I'm clearing it without, so that all energies on all levels of the spiral can flow and move again. And of course, after the Monday with Iggy will, and certainly since yesterday, my neck is now back, coming into movement. Haven't needed to go back to the chiropractor. I'm getting my full movement back. The whole aspect of my neck is freeing itself up. And this is the power we hold, and I guess this is the message at the end of the day. It's learning how to be with you. That whatever symptom, watch how you respond or react to that. Watch how you respond or react to what's rising in your feeling body, the mental body, your physical body. Because how you respond or react creates the outcomes, and they vary greatly. It's the journey of learning to be with you. And in that beingness, going into that cave and being happy to be on your own, even though you might not be happy in the moment, but you're accepting it on some level to some degree. You're calling home. You're calling back the fragments of the self from God knows where, from God knows where within your grand etheric body, all the timelines that you are in your huge auric field. You're calling all the fragmented parts of yourself back into wholeness, balance, realignment, coming together as one again. And as you learn to do that, and you have to start somewhere and you build, you start to learn so much more about you. You start to find the faith and trust and courage in you for you. And you start to see the incredible abilities that you have, that you are, and that then you can call forth even more. And we call forth for the greater skills and wisdom and more light as we're ready. Because that light is cause and effect, and it has a great effect and impact upon your physicality, because your whole body and cellular structure and atomic nature has to undergo change, and it already is. It's happening without you knowing it. So when you engage into the process, you learn. You learn about you. Bring in the things that you love. And that's the one thing I was really saying to myself through this cave heavy process. Two things I learned extra. Recognizing that it wasn't all just me, because that's something I do. I take it all and I look through me, I look through my lineage, I go through all the stuff about me, and I'm really clearing me and my timelines. And sometimes I do forget that I am part of the greater collective. And I know that. But this was also very much a clearing of the greater collective as well, which I hadn't anticipated till I recognized I'd done me, and I felt that I'd completed me, and then was still feeling that heaviness. So then I worked on the greater collective, and I released that and transmuted through there. The other thing I did for myself was sit there and I just said to myself again, as I've said for over 22 years or more, can't remember how long now, are you happy? Are you really happy? Where aren't you happy? And where can you find the happiness? And what do you want to do that's going to give you happiness? And I had to revisit that again, because it changes. You know who you were a year ago, you're not now. And things that you like then, you might not like now. And there might be new things are waiting for you, or things that you've thought, or things that are inspiring through you that you hadn't contemplated before that are calling you. And so I had to sit with that and then find that happiness. And the one thing I discovered, though, that I did do all the time that always brought me joy, I haven't done for a long time, is sing. I haven't been singing for so long. And so I pulled out all the old music and I've just started to sing and sound again, and utilized again all the skills, bringing all the things that give me joy back into my being and my world. And really, again, pushing out the stuff that I might have let creep back in, and went, no, I don't want you creeping in at all now. No more creeping in anymore. Be it somebody, be it their energies, things they do, whatever might surround me. No. So I've reestablished, here are these rewords, I've reestablished my boundaries. And not from fear, but from self-love. So I hope this, for anyone that hears this, thank you. And I hope that you may see something in here for you or find some sort of guidance. But if any, as I said at the beginning, if anything, I just want you to know my true intention for this post today is that you're not alone. You know, you are so not alone, but we're moving into this very, very energetic time. This portal, as I said, I feel it's going to be very big, and there's some big stuff coming. 6 months ago, I said this is a big 6 months. Well, this is the big 3 months now, and finding your center of balance is going to be vital. Remembering how to come back to that. And we are, through this portal, many of us now going to be propelled into our true soul mission, into another courageous aspect of self, where we're going to be required to really stand tall in our faith and our trust, and to be the beacon and to radiate the love, and to know that we simply cannot devolve into fear, and to recognize those old frequencies as quickly as we can and recenter and reestablish our realignment to our true nature and true source again, to re-anchor, to reestablish that connection to Gaia, and to hold tight and have our frequencies embedded within hers to support us in her grids of 5D of gold, diamond, and platinum. So sit with all, be with yourself, be prepared to be with yourself, and know there is nothing to fear but fear itself. And there is so much light in the shadows and the creases of your garments of self, waiting to be discovered and simply just to be owned and embraced, acknowledged, and let go again. And just know that once you've done that, you're free. You truly are free, and you're free the moment you decide to be. Okay, thank you, everybody. That's it. You've got me at my raw, vulnerable. It doesn't often happen, and it's a big thing for me to do this. That I had no plans on what I did today. So thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your grace and your love. And I will see you soon. Okay, bye.